I found 7 businesses under $700,000 that all generate cash flow. I picked industries that I loved and focused on when I was at Blackstone doing private equity, and I found tangible listings of businesses that are for sale that you can go and buy literally today, right after this video. Number 1, we're going to touch on what that business opportunity is and the business model. Number 2, I'm going to share my investment thesis, why I think it's a good investment. And then number 3, we're going to talk about the profitability and cash flow margins of this business. And by the way, we rank these from lowest to highest cash flow margins. One of these is generating 50% plus cash flow margins. This is the greatest time to go buy a business. And I'll tell you 2 core reasons that will definitely sell you. Number 1, there are 10,000 baby boomers that are retiring every single day, and 10% of them own America's small businesses. And then the second thing is that they don't have a succession plan, meaning there is no one at the existing employee base that is going to step up to run the business, or 2, they don't have family that want to inherit that company in the day-to-day operations. They can get rid of it or shut it down, or 2, they can sell it to you. So I'm sold. Let's lock the heck in. Let's figure out what these 7 boring but cash flowing businesses are. Let's rock. Number 7, we found a plumbing and septic business in Tennessee. So this is a business that provides plumbing and septic services. Essentially, they have a team of plumbers, septic technicians, and trucks that have the equipment to go service residential as well as commercial clients, providing 1, essential plumbing services as well as septic cleaning services. Now I know, super dirty, super boring, but let me show you a little bit of insight into why this thing prints. This business is generating $1.3 million of revenue every single year. And then let's head into the multiples, and I'll tell you a bit about a multiple. A multiple is essentially the asking price of what the owner wants to sell the business for divided by the cash flow profile of the business. So the asking price, this one, let's take a look. It's asking $650,000, and the annual cash flow, or how much EBITDA or SDE is it bringing in every single year, is around $200,000. By the way, that's someone's annual salary. So you can buy a business, quit your job, and just clip 200 grand every single year. By the way, I'm just saying. The multiple on this, so you take that $650,000 divided by the $200,000 to get what your purchase price multiple would be. And that gets you a 3.25 multiple. That's in line in industry average for small business acquisitions. And what private equity pros like myself love to do is that we like to compare that entry multiple to other businesses in a similar industry, in a similar geography that have also sold. This is called doing comps to understand if this business is over or undervalued the average of what similar businesses have sold for in the past. So that's the multiple. Let's touch on the margin. And the margin is taking the annual cash flow divided by the annual revenue. So we take that $200,000 of annual cash flow divided by that $1.3 million of annual revenue. Now I get a bunch of questions in my comments around like, what does this cash flow number include? It doesn't include taxes. It doesn't include CapEx. It doesn't include changes in net working capital or interest, things like that. This is essentially adjusted EBITDA, okay? Plain and simple for the hardcore finance nerds. Getting it out there. But you take that 200 grand divided by 1.3 million, you get around a 15% cash flow margin. That's pretty solid for a pretty intensive labor as well as equipment-based business like this. But the cool thing is, there is opportunities to either increase pricing or reduce costs to have a better cash flow margin profile. But what's my thesis? Number 1 is an essential service with a 30+ year operating history. Do you know how good of a business you need to be to stick around for 30 years? As well as being in a recession-resilient essential niche like plumbing and septic services? You have to be good. And if it's been around for the last 30 years, odds are it's probably going to be around for the next 10, 20 years. So I like that point. That's thesis number 1. And number 2, labor shortage. I don't know if you realize this, but I want you to track how long it actually takes for you to call a plumber or a septic technician and actually have them come to your house to provide that service. It used to take days. Now it takes weeks. Why? Because there's a backlog. Why is there a backlog? Because there's not enough technicians. Why is there not enough technicians? Folks aren't going to trade schools and wanting to graduate and work at the services. So we have a labor shortage. Now it is kind of a risk if you don't have access to talent, but also it's an opportunity because then it allows you to raise your prices because you are more in demand, and it gives you a healthy backlog to have predictability in your revenue and your pipeline for the year. That's a good position to be in, but the key, which is also kind of a risk, we need to have access to talent. Pay them well, incentivize them to stay, and keep crushing it. Now, number 3, platform potential. What I love to do, I'm a KKR Blackstone baby. I love to buy businesses that have strong platform potential and then buy a bunch of similar lookalikes to build a platform. So the key is buy this business for around $600,000, $650,000, use some of that cash flow to buy a smaller one, maybe a few miles down the road or in a different end market or a different customer segment, and build myself a platform that's like a larger plumbing and septic business platform. And the next thing you know it, you take one business, you add on one each year, and over a handful of years, you have a portfolio of like 5 to 10 plumbing and septic service businesses. And now you're starting to move into like the elite private equity tier of how we think about platforms and investments. And by the way, we'll talk about this later, but your multiple expands as well. Now that's banker. Moving on to number 2, auto repair services. So we found all the way in South Carolina an auto repair shop that is on sale for $450,000 today. So what's their business model? Plain and simple, broken cars come in, they get fixed, and they leave happy customers. And last time I checked, ChatGPT is not going to be changing your oil, fixing a flat, or changing your transmission. So it has defensibility against crazy tech disruption today. I don't know, maybe those Tesla humanoid robots could be changing your oil later, but I'm just saying right now it's a pretty safe bet. So this one is on sale for $450,000. They have annual revenue of $600,000 and cash flow of around $100,000. So the margin profile on this business is 17%, but the multiple is a little bit higher, 4.5 times multiple. Why is this one higher? You might be asking why. It could be a stickier customer segment. It also could be in a higher demand geography, but then also sometimes sellers are just unreasonable. So given that the plumbing and septic business was around like a 3.3 multiple and this one's all the way at 4.5 times, I don't really have the need to pay up the price for this. And by the way, you can negotiate in deals. Whatever you see in the offer price, you can bid lower. So I would probably go in at 3.5 to 4 times for this business. And I'll tell you why. Here's my thesis. Now, number 1, like I said earlier, AI is not going to become your local mechanic. And then number 2, so many opportunities to digitize and improve your marketing efforts as a business. Virtually no auto shop that I know around me is marketing their services. But guess what? Everyone that I know that has a car eventually needs auto repair services. So there is a really cool opportunity to be top of mind in front of your customers with very simple investment into a website, into social media, into engagement with existing customers or returning customers, things like that. Very easy lifts. And then number 3, the used car market, I think, is going to have increased demand for auto repair services to keep older inventory and older cars in the market for longer and fix them better. Why? Because it's cheaper. And why do I think that? Because new inventory, new cars, they're fancy, they're flashy, but boy, oh boy, they are so expensive. And folks might not have the discretionary income to buy super expensive brand new cars. So what does that leave them? Exploring used car opportunities, which sometimes come with a little bit more maintenance and repair needs on those vehicles. Who's gonna do that? Not ChatGPT, your local auto repair shop. So we're gonna buy this one in South Carolina for 3.5 to 4 times multiple so that we can take over that demand, improve a little bit of marketing, have a better presence, and then boom. And then maybe if we want to, tuck in some more add-on acquisitions as well to have an auto repair shop platform. We're cooking. Yep, we're cooking. Now moving on to number 3, one of my favorites, a vet hospital in Florida. Now we all know what vets provide. They provide the general hospital needs, surgery, as well as essential care for our very, very, very small friends. And we found ourselves a nice one that is for sale with a long operating history in Tampa Bay, Florida. So let's check out the stats for this one. This one is on the market for around $600,000, and the annual revenue for this is around $900,000 with a cash flow of around $240,000. Now, margin profile, we're sitting at 26%. Now we're in the 20s. Okay, nice. And the multiple for this is only 2.4 times multiple. So not only did we get a arguably better end market, but we also got a more attractive multiple. That just shows like you shouldn't just jump on the first listing or first business opportunity that you see or the first deal that a banker shows you. You need to be looking at hundreds, if not thousands of deals to try to find that golden nugget of a really good opportunity. And one key thing that Blackstone taught me about investing is you want to buy the worst house in the best neighborhood, AKA pick the best industry like vet clinics and find the most ugly, undervalued asset, because a good market, a good industry, AKA rising sea levels, lift all boats. Here's my thesis. Number 1, pet ownership has been skyrocketing post-COVID. You can't go a day without speaking to someone that either has a pet or is talking about getting a pet. And number 2, this clinic has a 20-year plus positive operating history in one of the best markets. Like Tampa Bay, Florida has been ranked in one of the top 5 of like pet-friendly states in the US. And this business has been around for 20 years servicing all these customers. So people and families love them. And if you're working with one family, odds are you're sticking with that for generations to generations. Then if they hear about you and they spread the word to their neighbors, to their coworkers, you can just have the network effects to have more and more customers. It's genius. And then number 3, it is fully staffed and fully equipped, meaning me as an investor, I don't need to go put on a lab and start to become a surgeon on Frenchies. There's already vets and staffs needed, and I just need to focus on providing strategy to grow the business, providing capital for capital expenditures, or helping to think about M&A and other very high-level strategic decisions. Like, you don't need to be a vet to own a vet clinic. You should need to make sure you partner with a good vet, incentivize them to ensure that they want to run this business and help it grow, and then you focus on things that the finance and the investing professionals need to focus on, meaning taking that business to the next level. I like this deal so much that after this, I am probably going to email the banker and say, hey, I love this deal. I also have a dog named Buddy Finance, and we would like to visit this business in Florida and try to build a relationship with the owners and put in an offer to acquire this company. And if you don't know who Buddy Finance is, I talk about him on my Instagram almost every single day. He is my life source when it comes to finding accretive cash flowing deals. I'm doing this for him, JK, but if you haven't followed us on Instagram by now, bang that follow button on IG. We talk about nothing but buying and investing in cash flowing businesses literally every single day in our stories and our reel. And I just love giving this kind of content away to the entire community. We do it on LinkedIn, we do it on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, but if you're not a subscriber, bang that subscribe button. But all we are here to do is to make sure that you all are equipped with smart money moves that I learned at Blackstone and KKR so that you can go invest with incredibly professional and sound judgment. So hopefully you guys are enjoying this. But putting Buddy Finance aside, let's focus back to these cash flowing businesses and focus on this next one, which is the dumpster rental industry. So we are all the way in Kentucky, baby. Nice. We have a business that essentially has dumpsters under inventory and drops them off in front of homes and other commercial buildings to allow for them to put their junk inside this dumpster, and then they dump it and then send it to the next customer. It's kind of like having a table rental business for those birthdays, but instead of tables, it's dumpsters for your waste. Pretty sound business model, as long as you can keep up with the maintenance of your dumpsters. I think it's pretty solid. Now let's check out the stats for this one. They're asking $400,000 and the annual cash flow is around $100,000. Now look, it's a little bit lower than the rest of the opportunities that we looked at, but I'm telling you, $100,000 is significantly higher than the rest of the median income across the US, and you get to own a business that's renting out dumpsters that doesn't need very much oversight. So the multiple on this is 3.7 times, which is still on average in line with small business acquisitions. And then the margin is almost 30%. It's like 27% margins. That's pretty solid. And as you notice, we're just getting higher and higher with these cash flow margins. Like, just wait till the end. It's kind of banger. But what's my thesis? Number one, crazy platform potential. Outside of franchises like Junk King and Smash My Trash, there are so many mom and pop dumpster rental businesses that you can just essentially buy all of them for a few $1,000,000 in a certain city or geography and dominate by raising prices, by having more streamlined operations, by having a more improved, updated fleet, things like that. So I think there is incredible platform potential in the dumpster rental space. And then number two, for this one, it's actually tech enabled. They have patented equipment, AKA dumpsters, but then also they have a CRM system to ensure that dumpsters are being efficiently leased out and rented out. They have effective distribution routes, as well as maintain relationships with their customers to ensure that they can follow up with them for future dumpster rentals. Now, this is really sound and really positive. This is probably why they have almost a 30% margin. Usually these kind of businesses are at like 10 to 15%. But they doubled it because of the tech enablement. I like this. That sounds like they have a really strong leader that's tech focused, that knows what they're doing, and that has the potential to take this business to like the next level. I like that. And then number three, limited overhead. Like I said, you just need to drop off the dumpster in front of someone's house. You don't need to like sit there, service it. You don't need to work on it every single hour, every single day. Just manage the fleet, have a warehouse, and then have the team that's able to drop off and pick up the dumpsters. So should be low overhead and incredibly more scalable. And all we need to do is just have more dumpsters in our inventory and invest in a little bit of marketing so that we can have more customers and then have our fleets leased and rented out 24/7 all day. That's how you take this from a $400,000 revenue business to like an $800,000 to $1 million revenue business. So that's my thesis on the dumpster rental space, especially in Louisville, Kentucky. Now, number five, we're smashing some trash, but this one is a trash compacting business all the way in the Big Apple of New York City. So we're smashing trash, folks. Now, this is related to the other business that we talked about, the dumpster rental. Like when you have a dumpster rental business and you fill it up with a bunch of trash, where do they take that? Where do they haul it? They take it to a land site or a landfill where a bunch of waste management and trash companies dump their trash. Now, do they just leave it in piles there to sit and smell and just like take up a lot of space? Some do, but majority of efficient waste management enterprises, they compact the trash into very concise boxes and squares and cubes so that it allows for space, easier transport for businesses. And who does that? There is specialized trash compacting services that go to landfill sites and actually compacts and organizes the large sums of trash. And guess what? Trash isn't a once a month or once a year thing. Trash comes every hour of every single day, in good times and bad, with AI or not AI. Regardless of anything, there will be trash in the next 100+ years. I guarantee it. So what is also going to be around for an incredibly long time is trash compacting services that work with landfill operators to ensure that they are organizing and operating their spaces efficiently by compacting the trash into these really fancy, cute cubes. So for this one in New York, let's check out the stats. They have a large contract with MTA. That's kind of nice, but they are asking $650,000, doing annual cash flow of $220,000. So this means that they have a 34% cash flow margin, which is stellar in the waste management space, by the way, because it is pretty capital intensive as well as a lot of operating expenses because you need real people, as well as they're on sale for 3 times multiple, like dead in line with a lot of small business multiples. This seems like a steal for me, but let's talk about the thesis. Number one, this will be here forever. Essential, non-discretionary, recession-proof, damn near will be here forever type of business model. I love that. Number two, they have demonstrated their ability to sign sticky customers, like the MTA, which is a huge customer in the state of New York. Now look, if they want to have more and more sticky customers, odds are they need to invest into their business. Have more fleets, have more technicians, have more service providers, things like that. But that's just a little bit of cost and it's worth the pain for the additional revenue. So I love that second point. And then number three, there's long-term tailwinds in this waste management space. I don't know if you noticed this, but we're just accumulating more and more stuff as society. Like folks are hoarding things, putting a lot of stuff into storage and just collecting just a lot of crap. And what we're also doing, throwing away a lot of stuff. So like trash volumes have done nothing but rise over the last like 30, 50, 100 years. And alongside that has also become the demand of trash compacting services. I like this. It's like smash my trash, but at a bigger level. But moving on, we got some windows to clean in this next segment of window cleaning services. And this business is all the way in Massachusetts, and they provide very simply window cleaning, exterior cleaning services for residential and large high-rise commercial clients. Pretty good business. So this one's on the border of Massachusetts and Rhode Island, and they're for sale for $350,000. And the annual revenue for this is around $400,000, and cash flow, $189,000 of cash flow every single year. And now let's check out the margins on this. This one is sitting at 48% cash flow margins, and the multiple that they're asking is 1.9 times multiple. Now this is a sub-2 multiple with pretty high margins. You're like, why is this even for sale? There's a lot of reasons, and these actually pop up a ton. Usually this is a very small team, meaning that like the owner is significantly involved. It could be a 1 to 5 person shop. And if the owner is significantly involved, you can bet your butt that if you acquire this business, you have to step into that role and be extra involved as well. And for that kind of owner dependency, that typically requires a lower multiple to sell your business. So if you don't mind getting your hands a little wet with a little bit of Windex, go out there and clean some windows and generate almost $200,000 of annual cash flow. But let's check out the thesis. Number one, they have a 30-year operating history of just a stellar track record and community trust with large commercial customers as well as residential customers. And like I said, that's hard to replicate. If they've been around for 30 years, odds are the customers will want to work with them for the next 5 to 10 years. So good operating history. And then number two, they have high margin repeat customers. What I love about this is that they've signed customers from like 5, 10, 20, 30 years ago and have been maintaining relationships with those customers and have been doing it at attractive prices and pretty attractive margins. That's why this kind of business is sitting at 50% cash flow margins, because their business model just works and they've been absolutely crushing it with the clientele that they have. So that's stellar operations. Long history, stellar operations. What's the third one? Low CapEx. This is not a crazy capital intensive business model. All you need is the labor, but then also the chemicals and the cleaning equipment, but then also if you need to get up in really, really, really tall buildings, that one like scaffolding type of equipment that allows you to like move up a building like Spider-Man. That is it. And the cool thing is those things don't break down that often. Like manufacturers have to ensure that they are stable and safe for the people that work on that stuff. So you buy some of that stuff once and then you don't need to buy it for the next 5 to 10 years. So you have on average, a low capital intensity business model. Now look, if I wasn't scared of heights, I probably would have bought this business already and wouldn't put this in this video. I would 100% gatekeep it because it's like a sound business, 30 operating history, low capital requirements, sticky customers with high margins. Who wouldn't want to buy this? But I am scared of heights, and something about being 100 feet in the air just doesn't sit right with me. So I'll let you all have it. But moving on to the next one, surveying and engineering services. And we are taking our talents all the way to Kentucky again. And what I love about this surveying and engineering business is that before you build anything, whether you are a developer for homes or commercial buildings or governments or municipal buildings, before you even dig, you need to have an engineer to design it. But then you also need to have a surveyor ensure that you're following the rules in terms of the actual plottage of land, as well as not crossing any boundaries. It's kind of essential. You can't do it without any of those. So it is a very, very, very critical piece of the development value chain. But for this one all the way in Kentucky, they're asking $600,000 and has annual revenue of around $470,000. Now check out the cash flow margin on this. They are doing $243,000 of cash flow every single year. And the multiple on this, 2.5 times, so sub 3, as well as 52% cash flow margins. We are cooking. Look, you just don't find this stuff in everyday news, all right? But if you've made it this far into the video and found out that we found a 52% cash flowing business that is an essential piece of the construction and development value chain that will odds are be around forever, W's in the chat. Like, type in survey in the comment down below just to showcase and shout out to you that you have invested the time to figure this stuff out to go hunt and buy business. Shout out to y'all. So put survey in the chat if you've made it this far into the video. But let me share with you my thesis. Number one, this is a niche focus, meaning that they are specializing in a very, very, very niche specialized skill set. So their engineering services, very niche. The surveying services, very niche, meaning not a lot of competitors can do what they do. So they have done this with a long operating history and they have repeat clients. So I love when a business is niche and I love when they have repeat clients. Best of both worlds. Then number two, 50% plus cash flow margins. Like, I think out of all of the businesses in the entire world, like the average cash flow margin is like 15 to 20%. This one's doing 50. Nothing else to say. And then number three, they have sticky developer and government clients. These are customers to where when they want to build something, they probably are going to build it. They're not fickle. They're not worried about all these interest rates. They're not going to pause projects because when they say they're going to build something, they have a lot of stakeholders relying on them to actually execute on building it. And if you're going to build something, you need someone to design it, engineer, and you also need someone to do the survey to ensure that you're not crossing any boundaries. Essential, 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 essential. All right, let's ride. So I will race you guys to the bankers to submit an offer on this business because this is very clearly a banker. I don't know why anyone hasn't bought it already. And I don't know why the owner's selling. So we got to figure that stuff out. Now, when it comes to sourcing and how I found these businesses, all these 7 I found on business listings. Like BizBuySell, BizBen, Flippa. It's just like shopping for clothes on Zara. You can shop for businesses online. That's a very clear way to find businesses. But the second one is building relationships with bankers because they are the ones that speak with business owners every single day. And if you build a long-term relationship that compounds, eventually you will be top of mind for bankers when great businesses come to market. Now, the third one, this is my favorite, and I don't have that much time, but I will share with you in my next video where I outline my entire sourcing process for my holding company Dreamline. And I'll talk about end-to-end, how to find the right listings, how to build relationships with bankers, and then I'll touch on this special third one of how to develop really, really, really cool pipeline of opportunities. So if you guys enjoyed this video, bang that like button. It means the world to me and the team, and I'll catch you guys on that next one. Peace.